Hey beloveds, I'm Jerome Braggs and it's time for another one of your questions. So today's question comes from Andrea Dillard and she asked, how can we raise our energy in order to communicate with those who have crossed over? Excellent, juicy question, Andrea. So the first thing I want to say is you already are communicating with your loved ones who have crossed over. They're literally a part of you. They're one with you. And they're communicating. They're sending signals. They're speaking to you in your dreams. But if you want to audibly hear them, you want to speak to them and audibly hear them speak back to you, you're going to have to raise your energy. One of the things that happens when we cross over, actually the first things that happens, is we become the totality of our highest self. We become the totality of our soul, which is liquid love, which is pure positivity, which is happiness and joy. It's the pure vibration of that. And that's at a really, really, really high energetic frequency, right? And so higher than you can achieve while you're in your body. You can get very close, but you can't achieve that while you have your body. And so while you have a body, while you're here, in order to hear them, you're going to have to really raise your frequency, especially if you're in mourning still, especially if you have some anger or some frustration over them or how they passed. Especially if you're in that energy, you're going to have to raise your frequency. It's kind of like if you've ever been angry or really depressed or really sad, and you've had a loved one or a friend of yours who was really happy and was really not sad or upset, and you really just, that energy was just not even a match. You couldn't even almost be in the same room with them. They just bugged you almost, and you couldn't really hear them fully, even what they were saying, right? Because it's just, they're just not an energetic match. You kind of have to raise your frequency to either they have to come down to you or you have to come up to them to kind of hear each other. Well, your loved ones are not going to come down. You've got to come up. And so the ways in which you can raise your frequency to begin to hear them, the first way is a meditation. You want to have a meditation practice daily, at least 5 minutes a day. I'd say about 5 to 15 minutes. And you don't need to do the very complex ones where you're like opening all 7 chakras and bringing the sun down and rotating. You don't need to do all of that. Just simple breathing, focusing on your breath, and stilling your thoughts as much as possible will help you raise your frequency. Meditation is one of the best tools to do that. The second way to do that is to have an appreciation journal. I have mine right here. Mine has a little unicorn on it, as you see. You want to, in your appreciation journal, you want to really focus on the great stuff about the loved one that you want to communicate with. What are some things you really appreciated about them? What are some things you're grateful for? What were some of their personality traits that you loved? What were some of your favorite memories? This will help you not only raise your frequency, but connect in with them. It's almost like a phone call to them. Because when we think about our loved ones in spirit through the energy of appreciation and joy and gratitude, we bring them, the energy of them, in even closer. And the third thing to do is to hold something of theirs. I have my grandmother's funeral folder from her memorial service. And so whenever I want to speak to her, which I do quite often now, I'll hold this. I'll hold this to my heart, or I'll touch it and I'll remember something. I'll do my appreciation and I'll do some deep breaths. And then I'll ask her the question, or I'll say whatever I wanted to say to her. And 99% of the time I hear back. So that's a way in which we can raise our energy to begin to hear our loved ones. If you'll begin to practice these things and give it about 30 days to raise your frequency, you'll begin to see some results. And I'd love to hear what your results were. Hope this serves you, and I look forward to the rest of your questions. As always, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Until next time, bye.